This is Monkey World, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. With every animal comes a story. Some funny, some shocking. Dramas great and small. Today on Monkey Life, the nursery chimps get the better of animal manager Jeremy.
David Attenborough didn't have this problem, did he? No.
And there's tension when a new woolly monkey baby is born.
Hey! We have the monkey! We have the monkey!
Monkey World is a thriving 65-acre sanctuary. Established 20 years ago, it's run by Jim Cronin and his wife Alison. It's home to more than 160 primates of 15 different species. And all the primate care staff dedicate their lives to rehabilitating the animals that come their way.
Jim and I have always sort of said to the primate care staff, and it's sort of the way we think about our animals as well, is that we always on a daily basis want to try and come up with new and better ways to improve their quality of life, because this is their home, this is where they live. So we're, always trying to think of things that would be better for them, keep them more interested, more amused, more active, more healthy.
When you work with animals, no 2 days are ever the same. But for animal manager Jeremy, his day starts with a physical challenge.
Yeah, you look, you get hold of that, pull it. Yeah, good girl, pull it. Good girl. Go on, pull it up. Good, yeah, pull it up there, go on. You were doing well for a second then. Yeah, good girl. Oh, you almost got it then.
In the bucket is water and vegetable oil filled with floating treats.
Get hold of that. Sally, why do I get all these jobs?
Curiosity has even got the better of the newest recruits, Ben and Pip. They've been extremely nervous of the outdoors and have only recently been brave enough to come outside. But now, there's no stopping Ben.
Well, Pip's still a little bit of a wuss. I don't know why. But Ben's a real outside boy. If you look at Pip now, she's still a bit nervous of it all, though she doesn't quite know why. Look, Ben, what are you doing, eh? You be careful, don't go and fall in. What's this?
Life at Monkey World is all about creating fun. But there's a serious side too.
Now, the whole thing is, apart from gives them something different to do, the oil on the top of this is, is good for their skin and coat conditioning. These chaps do get dry skin, and of course our climate isn't really suited to them, so we do need to oil their skin regularly, like on a daily basis. Otherwise they can get dry and cracked skin. We do give them oil in their diet, so we've got oil from within, but also we spray them and anoint them with vegetable oil. And this is just a variation on that. We've got water with oil floating about in the top, and then the food, and so at some point they're going to get oil on them, and it's good fun. And, it's just another way of getting oil onto them.
Ben's having a great time. Just like humans, all chimps have different personalities.
It is.
And while Ben is bolder than his sister, young female chimps are more thoughtful than males. She knows bolder isn't always best because there could be danger outside, but each day she seems more at ease with her surroundings, and no doubt she'll soon be just as boisterous as her brother. While most of the gang are enjoying their treat, dominant female Sally doesn't join in.
Sal's not a team player. Sal only likes doing things when she's on her own and, got the full attention. She doesn't share.
Sally's nursery mob is one of 4 chimpanzee groups at the park. It's home to 7 chimps, and 18-year-old Sally's made it her job to be the park's very own foster mum. Many years ago, she did live in an adult group, but never really fitted in. Because she loved babies, it became her job to help the park's younger residents negotiate the complexities of chimp life. To date, she's helped raise 29 babies. Living at the other end of the park is a unique bunch of chimps, the bachelor boys, affectionately known as the hooligans. They all started life in mixed groups, but as most of them were too aggressive, a bachelor pad was set up. Jim and Alison took quite a risk putting a bunch of highly strung boys together, but it seems to be working. In the wild, small bachelor groups do occur when adolescent males leave their birth troop. They go off and establish their own new territory. This lot of hooligans are a happy and settled bunch, governed by their slightly unhinged leader, Butch. Boys being boys, life is full of petty squabbles. And back with the nursery chimps, Jeremy's found himself right in the middle of one.
Bundle. Sort them out, Lulu. Good girl. Did you see that? Good job you were here.
Conflict is too much for youngsters Ben and Pip, who make a hasty retreat. Seamus has turned his attentions to animal manager Jeremy. Jeremy hand-reared the 7-year-old for the first 2 years of his life, so they're always pleased to see each other. The problem is, Seamus's age may be increasing, but his maturity isn't. It's not long before others follow, and Jeremy is at the centre of a free-for-all.
David Attenborough didn't have this problem, did he? No. I've got another spot, have I? Stop it.
Now the chimps have had a sufficient oiling, Jeremy can get his revenge. While he has fun terrorising the others, Lulu uses her intelligence to sneak the prize. By emptying out the bucket, she gets all the tasty bits that have sunk to the bottom. As Monkey World was set up as a rescue centre, breeding is not always encouraged. But because some species are endangered, the park takes part in controlled breeding programmes.
We actually participate in 3 different international breeding programs for specific species. And that's for the orangutan, our woolly monkeys, and our golden sheet gibbons. So that means, in terms of a global perspective, we're talking to and liaising with different organizations around the world to ensure that any infants that are born to any of those 3 species have maximum genetic diversity, so that you create a population, albeit in captivity, but that are unrelated and a healthy population. And you try and ensure, of course, that they're born into good circumstances so that they grow up and behave naturally.
Woolly monkeys are part of the endangered species breeding programme, but they rarely successfully give birth in captivity. They're extremely difficult to keep healthy as they suffer from social stress and high blood pressure. They also have very particular nutritional needs, but here, large tree-filled enclosures and a carefully monitored diet ensures a happy community. This has led to the much-awaited arrival of the park's 3rd baby woolly monkey to female Kuna. It's Jim who's captured on camera the baby's first and vital moments.
Jim, I just wanted, do you need anything down there? Are you good?
No, right now we're fine. If everything's settled up there, you know, you ought to feel free to come down.
The only problem is, it looks like Mum Kuna has rejected the baby. Instead of being tucked up with her, it's attached to Dad.
It's very possible that Dad saved the baby's life. Sadly, he might have been a hero for one moment, but he can't continue to care for the baby because somebody's got to feed it. But we're going to have to do something about it now, so we're probably going to have to anesthetize both the mother and father, hope that that goes okay, and try and put the baby back on the mum and see what happens. So it's tense times right now, but we're all very pleased that Kuna and the baby are fit and healthy, and that, boy, Dad saved the day, picked up the baby and is keeping it warm.
As animal manager Jeremy darts Dad Bueno, vet Mike Nathan is on standby to take the baby and keep it warm. Mum Kuna is also anaesthetised, so the baby can be put back on her nipple to feed. But before that, Mike needs to check the baby's weight.
What's the weight?
313.
The baby's weight is 313 grams, which is less than a can of baked beans. At the moment, he's a healthy size, but time is ticking to get him fed properly.
Right, okay. This baby hasn't had anything at all to suckle since it's been born. I think their reflex to hang on is incredibly strong. That's overriding everything. But it just wants to have a suckle on the nipple, but he is just too lazy to take it. So I want to get some fluids in because I think he's slightly dehydrated.
The baby's becoming weaker and weaker, so it's vital he gets fed.
So, Mikey, how much did you get in?
1.5 mils.
The baby is taken to lie with Mum while she's under anaesthetic. Maybe when she wakes up, Kuna will at last bond with her new infant.
Are you ready? Yeah, that's fine.
Not too much in it because we have the baby.
Don't need those things.
We'll see, it's all in really Kuna's hands now, whether she wants the baby or not, and in the end, you know, only she can make that decision. So we'll be here to sort of pick up the pieces if she decides not to, but really, this is what we want.
Monkey World Ape Rescue Centre is home to 59 chimps, the largest natural living collection outside of Africa. Most had a traumatic start in life. Their nightmare began when they were stolen from the wild as babies. Even worse, the capture of one infant can result in as many as 10 adults being slaughtered as they try to defend the baby. Some went on to be used as beach photographers' props. Others were paraded around in circuses, and for a few, life was in a laboratory. How much damage stays with them, no one knows, but their scars are definitely apparent. These primates are man's closest relative, sharing nearly 99% of our DNA. They're highly sociable, and in the wild they live in large communities that can number 80 or more. At Monkey World, the largest group is home to 21. Presiding over the clan is their leader of more than 15 years, Paddy. He's a gentle boss, but as alpha male, it's his job to make sure there is peace among the group. The others will show him respect through submissive gestures such as crouching or holding out their hands while grunting or squeaking. Paddy might not be the brightest chimp on the block, but what he lacks in brain power, he makes up for in muscle. He's proved to be a fantastic leader and is respected by the whole group. In the second biggest chimp group, newly instated leader Hananya is struggling with life at the top. Two years ago, he was second in command to Rodney. It was Hananya's job to support his alpha male, and he clearly showed respect for his leader. Unfortunately, this slowly began to change, and Hananya's respect for Rodney weakened. Chimpanzees can be aggressive and volatile. In the wild, if there is a fight for leadership, the end result can be fatal. The park witnessed this firsthand when Hananya challenged Rodney. Most of the group backed the younger and fitter Hananya. Although Rodney's injuries weren't life-threatening, sadly the shock was just too much. He suffered a heart attack and died. The incident was horrific, but it's proof that the animals are living and behaving just as they would in the wild.
Hananya's got Peggy grooming him, right now on his ears and feet and so on. He's being groomed head to toe by quite a band of serious individuals. So I think what we're seeing is basically the group handing over power to Hananya.
2 years on, the group still want him as their alpha male, but he's finding it quite hard. At 14 years old, Hananya is a young leader, and because he's grown up with the majority of the group, he finds it difficult to reprimand them. He's beginning to assert his dominance, but from time to time he still frets and doesn't behave like a leader. This is a crucial time for him. It's hoped that he'll rise to the challenge, but the park is worried he may fall apart. With his position in the balance, it's going to be a very interesting time for this group of 16. The park is also home to 11 orangutans, and there's another one on the way, as 18-year-old Roro is pregnant for the second time.
She is very, very pregnant. She is full term, and it is a matter of time. I mean, it can be today, it can be within a week. And you know, an orangutan birth in any place is a bit special. Here, I believe it's even a bit more special. Roro was smuggled from the wild, and so was the father, Tuan. So it's a very, very important part of the breeding program to save orangutans from extinction. But we've had our ups and downs, me and her, but we're really looking forward to it.
Roro's background is unfortunately typical of an animal that suffered from the illegal wildlife pet trade. She was smuggled from the wild and kept in a cage as a pet in her owner's kitchen. Later, she was confiscated by the Taiwanese authorities and given refuge at the Pingtung Rescue Center in Taiwan. 6 years ago, Roro came to Monkey World, but had to overcome some challenges of her own. She was teamed with the park's 2 existing orangutans, Amy and her young son, Gordon. Amy immediately made it clear that she was not impressed with another female on her patch. The 23-year-old isn't the friendliest of apes, and although orangutans aren't very demonstrative, Amy made her feelings clear. In the wild, orangutans are semi-solitary, and this could explain the pair's constant squabbles. Luckily, after a few weeks, a truce was finally reached. Monkey World continues to rescue orangs, and 2 have also been born at the park. One of these was Roro's first baby. To begin with, she did hold the little girl tightly, but she would not let her suckle and ended up wrapping the newborn in a blanket. For its own safety, the baby had to be taken away and hand-reared by keeper Mike.
There's a good girl.
When natural mother Xiao Kuai gave birth to a son, it was a different story. From the start, she doted on the newborn, and today, she still does. Xiao Kuai clearly has mothering instincts, but this isn't always the case. In the wild, orangutans have the longest childhood of the great apes, and youngsters will stay with their mums up until approximately 7 years old. It's during this time that the females will learn how to be mothers, but as Roro was snatched as a baby, it could be why she didn't accept her firstborn. It is now hoped that the 18-year-old has learnt enough from Xiao Kuai to care for this infant. But animal manager Jeremy isn't so sure.
The bottom line is, you're not that hopeful she's going to take care of this baby, are you?
No, I doubt she'll take... I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, but I doubt she'll take care of it. But if she doesn't, I really hope that Xiao Kuai might.
You reckon Xiao Kuai's dominant enough to take it?
I'm not sure. It depends on Roro's mood, because when Roro's in a bossy mood, I wouldn't mess with her.
Yeah.
I think it's a joint effort. If Xiao Kuai can't do it on her own, I think I might be able to influence it. Like I somehow or other managed to influence Xiao Kuai to feed Kai in the first place.
So you're talking about going in?
Yeah.
So you reckon if you go in and she's not showing interest, you might be able to do something?
There's a chance.
Then again, at the very least, we can...
Nothing to lose.
No, but at the very least, if that happens, we then separate her off from the baby.
Yeah, separate her off from the baby, and I'm sure then Xiao Kuai will scoop it up. I'm trying to just keep all options open. And then, I'm sure she'll come up with something different, but that's what they do, isn't it?
Back in the woolly monkey house, New mum Kuna is coming round from her anaesthetic. Her baby has kept himself tightly attached in desperate need of being accepted and fed. But it looks as though Kuna is just not taking to her new arrival.
Hey, Kuna.
Things start to go from bad to worse.
Hey, go in there, get in, hey! Grab the monkey, grab the monkey.
Mum Kuna is actually trying to bite the newborn. Although this commotion sounds terrible, it's the only option for the baby's safety.
The baby safe. The baby okay, Elsie?
I believe so. We've got toes, fingers. I don't see any blood. That's him. He wasn't caring for the baby, so I think it's going to be our job now.
If this vulnerable infant makes it, he will be only the second baby woolly monkey in the world to survive being hand-reared.
We're very worried about whether or not this little one's going to survive, but we're going to try looking after it in a different way to any of the others we've tried before. Not put it in an incubator, keep it tucked up to whether it's my body or somebody's body, and just do it sort of more like a woolly monkey mother would, and start out very slow and try and feed as little and as often as possible and see if that works.
Next time, the park tackles one of its biggest moves to date, shifting 4 chimps to new enclosures, which means anaesthetics for all of them.
All the apes have their own strategies of avoiding being darted. Chimps tend to move around a lot, and they look out as if to say, go on then, dart me, dart me.
And we find out if the precious woolly monkey baby survives.